Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Jackie Boy's got a sports show, and you are tuning in to that sports show. How you doing? How's your day been? Now, I know before we get into it, I know what you're saying, Jack. It's Friday. Don't post on Friday. You already put out 3 pods this week. What are you doing? And you're right. But I want to make this a week a day thing, Monday through Friday thing. I really just want to put everything I have into this. I want to do it every single day outside of the weekends because, it's crowded with football and I need a break. I can't do it 7 days a week. But I do want to do it every weekday. And there's a lot of news stories that come out that I feel like I need to hop on real quick. And of course I do that on TikTok. But I want to do it on the pod. I want to do it on YouTube. I want to do it on Spotify, on Amazon Music, and on whatever platform I try to push this out to. Um, I want to put everything I can into this, and if that means making it every weekday, that means making it every weekday. Now it's only like a 30, 40 minute show, but hey, and that's on the high end. But hey, I want to do it every single weekend. You know what I'm saying? To get a little episode of your favorite sports show, which is Jackie's Sports Show. Of course, email me, oldjackyboy1021 at gmail.com. Any questions, concerns, thoughts, follow me on Twitter at Jackie Show and follow my personal Twitter at jjester615. Watch on YouTube, same name as the podcast, and follow me on TikTok for more daily sports content at Jackie Boy Sports. Just want to get the house cleaning out there. We got a couple news stories that I want to cover, including some of the things that happened yesterday in the NBA, or at very least the stories surrounding it. And then we have two football stories, and then I have a um, little thing I need to get off my chest that I was thinking about last night. So let's get started right in. Let's just jump right in. Right? Let's start with basketball. First of all, the small story we have. Anthony Davis, 30, 12, and 2, shutting those critics up. He was getting, I don't know if y'all saw it, he was getting toasted on Twitter. People were making AI images of this guy doing normal people jobs. You know what I'm saying? He was getting toasted. And he comes out and does that against probably the second best team in the West, maybe the third best team in the West. Good for him. And of course, second game of the season for the Suns. Believe the second game of the season for the Lakers. It's not like this game has any real meaning towards anything, but it was nice to see Anthony Davis after a poor performance last, I think on Wednesday, no Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. After a poor performance on Tuesday, coming back and putting up that kind of performance, you'd love to see it. Now, when it comes to the 76ers and the Bucks who played last night, um, of course, just both teams looked like very good teams. You had Tobias Harris for the 76ers going off. You had Kelly Oubre making plays. Everybody says the prettiest man in basketball. Of course, Joel Embiid was doing his thing on the Bucks side. Brooke Lopez was hitting some threes. Dame put up 39. Giannis put up 23 and 12, I believe, and a couple blocks. Those two teams are obviously probably the best two teams in the East. Very, very fun game to keep up with. But the story of the night, 76ers, James Harden was refused to get on the plane with the 76ers. He returned to practice right after the entire offseason calling Daryl Mooney a liar, right? Missing training camp, missing practice, missing preseason. He finally showed up to practice, and they didn't let him on the plane to travel with the team. Nor should they. Nor should they. James Harden is aggravated with the 76ers for whatever reason. I haven't fully looked into why he's aggravated. I just know that if he goes to a place and they're not immediately winning now, or immediately showing signs of, you know, serious NBA Finals uh, contention, he's just going to get aggravated and force his way out. And he's trying to do that with the 76ers, and good on them. They're not letting it happen. Now, James Harden has expressed that he would like to go to the Los Angeles Clippers, and Daryl Mooney responded by saying, okay, hey, Clippers, give us a first round pick swap, some salary filler, and Terrence Mann. And the Clippers obviously said, no, you're insane. So Daryl Mooney said, you're right. You're right. Come on. Yeah, what was I thinking? Instead of Terrence Mann, give me Paul George, right? And you're being unserious. Give me Paul George if you want James Harden. And the Clippers again said, stick it, right? And honestly, you could see this. Daryl Mooney said and has kept the same sentiment all offseason up until now, saying if he cannot get a good player for James Harden, or if he cannot get something that would allow him to get a good player, he's not going to do it. Nor should he. And the issue with that is nobody wants James Harden, nor should they. If you trade him to, he's not, this isn't the mid 2010s, right? This isn't the James Harden going and putting up 40 and being an MVP oh my God, conversations every season. It's just not. And honestly, he becomes a cancer really quickly. Why would any team want to touch him? If you're not showing signs of serious contention, he's going to try to force his way out of the organization. And honestly, at this point, he's not good enough to be pulling shit like that. So why would you want a guy like James Harden, a washed up point guard? That's what James Harden is. Receive shooting guard. I believe he's a shooting guard. Washed up guard. We'll just say guard because he can play both. You want a washed up guard that's going to bitch and moan the second you don't show signs of contention. The second that you don't cater to this dude, he is going to bitch and moan and try to force his way out of your organization. Why do you want that? And Daryl Mooney's being smart about it. He's not putting up with it. He just isn't. James Harden tried to force his way out. Daryl Mooney said, no, I know my asking price is too high. You're going to play for me. You're going to play out this contract, or you're not going to play for anybody. And good on him. I'm so tired of James Harden doing this. But let me know what y'all think about James Harden, that whole situation. Am I being too hard on him? I really don't think I am. So let's get to our two football stories. Dalvin Cook is tired of New York. Dalvin Cook wants a trade after only being in New York for what, 2, 3 months? And I sort of get it. When you look at it from Dalvin Cook's standpoint, right? Dalvin Cook goes into New York probably expecting to be the starter. There's no real timeline on when Brees Hall is going to come back. We're thinking that he might be available for Week 1, but you never know, especially with a torn ACL. And through this season, he has gotten 39 carries for 109 yards, as well as nine catches for 49 yards, and his snap percentage has dropped lower and lower and lower. Week 1, it was at 50%. This past week, it was at 14%. And I just got to say this. I just made a TikTok video and posted it. Jackie Boy Sports, go follow. What were the Jets expecting? And what was Dalvin Cook expecting? The Jets, when this talk of Dalvin Cook, being cut from Minnesota, looking for a team, and then it was coming out that, oh, the New York Jets are very interested, and Dalvin Cook is probably going to the New York Jets. My immediate thought was, why? Why the Jets? The Jets are one of the worst places you can go. Why? They have two very good running backs. One future superstar in Brees Hall, the other Michael Carter, who is a very, very solid backup. And then they just got this rookie, this kid, Izzy Abanikanakanwana, right? Who they really, really liked. If you watched Hard Knocks, they really, really liked Izzy. So when they picked up Dalvin Cook, I was like, why? What does Dalvin Cook bring to the New York Jets that the New York Jets don't already have? Vet presence? Okay. But Dalvin Cook, uh, the entire time he was cut and looking for teams, it was quite clear that Dalvin Cook wanted a starting role. So vet presence doesn't make any sense. Why do you pick up Dalvin Cook? Why not let him go to a team that he would immediately start? Like the Bills. He would be starting over James Cook right now, and he'd be playing. I don't know if he actually. I think if he went up to Buffalo, he'd be playing with his family, so he'd be more willing to take a smaller role in that offense. Now that James Cook is blossoming, right? Let him go to Kansas City. He'd be happy because he'd be in ring contention. And I know the Jets were whatever, but and I guess you can't really let him go to Buffalo if you really think that he's still got the goods. You can't let him go to a division rival. But you have a great backfield, so why do you care? It really it makes no sense why the Jets went after Dalvin Cook. I can't think of a single viable reason that the Jets went after Dalvin Cook or Dalvin Cook thought the Jets were a good idea. And now we are here. Dalvin Cook's role in the offense is getting less and less and less. And as Izzy grows and as Michael Carter grows, that's just going to further dwindle his role in the offense. And it's clear he wants to be a big part in an offense. I don't think he has the capability of doing that anymore, but that's what he wants. So again, why did you think that New York? Why did you think the Jets were the place to go? Maybe it was just ring chasing. Maybe it was that, and this frustration just started when Aaron went down. That could be a possibility. But let me know what y'all think. Tweet at me, comment on the TikTok I just made. Let me know what y'all think about the Dalvin Cook New York situation. Let's go to our final story, and then we'll get into my little spiel at the end of this. Bad vibes. Bad vibes in Cleveland over Mr. Deshaun Watson. Now, why is there bad vibes? Well, it started. Deshaun Watson had probably his best performance of the season. I don't think probably. I think objectively his best performance of the season against the Tennessee Titans when they beat them 27-3. And then he shows up to practice with a shoulder injury, and from accounts of his teammates and apparently the words out of his mouth, he said that he'd play against the Ravens. He didn't, right? I think he was out another week. And then this past week against the Colts, he gets knocked out early with a concussion, which is not his fault. But there's just it coming from the coaches and the players, in the media in press conferences, they're obviously going to have Deshaun's back. They're not going to try to show any whatever. But it seems like a lot of players are very confused with Deshaun Watson and why he didn't play in that Ravens game. Probably the coaches are a little confused too. And it doesn't make a lot of sense if he was actually injured. You get like you don't want to tough it out, right? And I'm getting a lot of the information that I'm gonna talk about is from the Pro Football Talk article that they wrote about this. But the only reason Deshaun Watson is there, and let's make this clear, there's a lot of awkwardness apparently between Deshaun Watson and the coaching staff, Deshaun Watson and the players, and it could stem from the fact that he sat out the Ravens game when he apparently said that he was going to play in the Ravens game. It comes from the fact that even if he was injured, he's toughed it out before in Houston a couple times. He's toughed it out in Clemson, right? So why is he not doing it for the Browns? Well, there is a little nugget of information that the Browns, when it came to the final four teams that Deshaun Watson was considering going to, The Browns were the first ones he crossed off the list. The first ones. And then they came with a fully guaranteed 5 year, $230 million deal. And you'd be stupid not to take that up, right? And objectively, even at that time, Cleveland was one of the best built rosters in the league. So, one of the best built rosters in the league, and you're getting $230 million fully guaranteed, you'd be a moron not to take that up, right? But that shows that Deshaun Watson didn't want to be there. Deshaun Watson is only there for the money, right? That's what that tells me. I don't know. I don't know how you could see that any differently. And now there's just apparently bad vibes between Deshaun Watson and everybody, which is a very funny way of putting it. Because I think of like some dude saying, "Oh man, like a guy who you know was accused of almost 30 women of severe weirdo behavior. I'm just getting bad vibes from him, dude. I'm just getting bad vibes, but like, let's pay him $230 million and maybe that'll go away." Oh, dude, he didn't actually. It turns out he didn't actually want to be here, dude. He didn't actually want to be here. I'm getting bad vibes from this brother. I don't know what it is. He keeps asking me about where to find the nearest massage parlor. I'm getting bad vibes. I'm getting bad vibes. Oh, I used to be able to do that laugh from SpongeBob. Oh, tights, dude. Oh, something like that. Something like that. I think I did that pretty well. But yeah, it really seems like the Browns are just shooting themselves in the foot. And I said this when they signed Deshaun Watson after Baker Mayfield played with his shoulder, you know, completely screwed up. The Browns got greedy. The Browns had a good thing going with Baker. The reason Baker did not play well that last season was because his shoulder was extremely messed up. But the Browns saw their roster, saw that they could maybe get a better quarterback. Yeah, he's coming off, 30 women accusing him of being a weirdo. Yeah, he's coming off almost 2 years of not playing football, but he's a generational talent. I don't think anybody can deny that Sean Watson is a generational talent. We have a great roster. So they got greedy and they went after Deshaun Watson. And now that greed is coming back to bite them. Of course, you know, nobody really knows if Baker would have been able to deliver them a Super Bowl. Maybe Deshaun Watson would give you a better, but even then, Baker's been mediocre again this season, right? But he's been better than Deshaun Watson. He's been better than Deshaun Watson ever since Deshaun Watson stepped on a football field in a Browns uniform. I absolutely love it. You gave a creep 230 alleged creep. You gave him $230 million guaranteed for 5 years after you had a good thing going with your number one overall pick. It's biting you in the ass. And I, for one, absolutely love it. Now let's get into my little spiel before we get out of here. I was thinking last night. I was actually listening to the weekly Schlatt that Jay Schlatt does, right? Or used to do, or whatever he does with that channel. And I was really thinking about what I want from this, right? And it's part of my motivation of throwing everything I possibly can at this, and, hoping it works out. But one thing I'm not scared of anymore is failure, right? I think a lot of people, when like chasing their dream, are terrified of failure. And the reason I'm not scared of failure is because I know that I could probably get, or I could get a very good job if this doesn't work out next year. I work at Amazon and they are fully willing to pay to train you in a good job. One of those being truck driver. You want to go into a trade school, you want to go to college, you want to do whatever, they will pay for it. So that, you I know that I'm I'm gonna be okay either way. And I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail, and it'll suck if I can't make, you know, being like a talking head in sports my job because talking about sports is my passion. You know, basketball started up and hockey started up, and now every day I spend, multiple screens on multiple games and, um, you know, taking notes, setting up TikToks, and thinking about making YouTube videos and podcasts. It's my passion. I love doing it. I love talking about sports. I loved playing sports growing up. I played, you know, football for 11 years. I played baseball for a year. I played basketball for a year. Um, I'd always play, soccer in the backfield in the backyard with my brothers. Like, I love sports, and sports have been a big part of my life, my entire life. And sitting down and talking about it and just filling my life with as much of it as I can sounds amazing. But I can't be scared to fail because if I do fail, if this doesn't work out, I could easily fall into, woe is me. I failed. I'm not good enough, yada, yada, yada. But if I'm not scared to fail, if I know that I put everything I could into this, I did everything I can to make this happen, and it just didn't work. If I accept that fact, and if just, you know, I just don't fear falling on my face with it, I don't know. I feel like there's a better mindset to have, right? And you could say, like, don't think about failure, don't whatever, but I want to be realistic. I want to be realistic. Just don't be scared to fail. Whatever you're chasing, whatever you're reaching for, don't be scared to fail because it's a very real possibility. And if you try to like push it out of your mind, and if you try to just not think about the possibility of you failing to do whatever it is you're doing, to learn whatever it is you're trying to learn or whatever, it's just not going to be good for you, dude, or lad, or lady, or anybody in between. That's just my 2 cents. I have a plan, and it's a viable plan. I've been saying I have a plan for a while now. Ever since I quit football, I kept telling everybody, don't, or I kept telling everybody, don't worry, I got a plan. I got a plan, and it's going to work. In reality, I never had a plan. But now I have a very viable plan in which, if my passion doesn't work out, I'll be okay. Uh, I'll be okay. I'll still be around. I'll still be around, hopefully. But Jacob always got a sports show. You just tuned into that sports show. Rate and share. Talk about it with your buddies. Turn your buddies on. In all sorts of ways if that's your thing. Rate 5 stars. It really, really helps me. Send any comments, questions, concerns. JacobBoy1021 at gmail.com. See you all on Monday. Have a good